Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. How's everybody doing? I trust everybody's doing just fine. Well, we've got another crash. Well, at least this time nobody got killed. It occurred in Toronto, Canada, Ontario. Yeah, and it apparently a Delta jet. Is it a Delta? Yeah, Delta plane flipped over on its top. Everybody escaped. No fire, it seems like, at least I don't see any. And as well, it seems like everybody, I guess, jumped out of their seat. Well, not jump out, they had to cliff out. That means they could fall on their heads. That would have been a hairy kind of a scene after that plane flip, but I can imagine how those people felt. Yet again, another plane crash. My God, what's going on here? Anyhow, it's still the safest thing out there. We just hope the private sector stop being. Think about if we had this administration and all these were government planes going down like this. You would ever hear the end of somehow the government is inefficient. You don't hear a peep now, right? But anyhow, we'll see what it's all about. We don't really know all the ins and out of what's going on here. Anyway, welcome aboard, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome aboard all my folks on Substack. Welcome aboard all my folks on Instagram. Welcome aboard all my folks on YouTube Live. We only have a very, very few on YouTube Live so far. Come on, YouTube and Instagram. Let's see how we look on Twitter. Anyway, we're growing. We're coming. Anyway, folks, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Para ver quién está aquí ahora mismo. Patrick Magner once again. This time he didn't write meow. I don't know if he messed up with the R, but he put mro. Mro, not meow, but mro. Am I missing something, Brother Patrick Magner? And also in the house, we have, Magner is from Houston, Texas. We have Yvette Avery Herod, our union person. Oh, he corrected it. Our union person. Beautiful Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia. We also have in the house Michael Rutnin, who is here from where again? Brooklyn, New York. We also have in the house, let's see, Joe from Los Angeles, California. We also have Eric Hayes from Kingwood, Atascocita. Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York. By the way, you know why I try to repeat these cities that you guys are from? For my mental sanity. I want to make sure that I'm not going senile and that I can remember things. Of course, E2247 is from everywhere. He never tells us where he's from. But also we have Paul Fleming from Silver Springs, or rather, Powder Springs, Georgia. And as I scroll down and we have Papier to Tea. I love that. Papier to Tea. I love that name. MC Derchafa. I don't know what that means. You have to help me out there. Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain is in the house. Bruce Pollard from Kingwood, Texas is in the house. Bruce says, I was hot this morning. Hey, if Bruce says that means it was a good show because, Bruce is a very meticulous kind of a guy. All right, let's see what else we have here. Let's go ahead. Michael has a whole lot of stuff that he gave me. Egberto, first one for the screen. Doing his best dictator screen for Blue Sky that's gone viral about Trump doing his best dictator impersonation. The thing is, Trump doesn't talk like this. No caps lock, no insane rambling, This is one of his cronies getting a hold of Trump's account and posting some Napoleon shit. I think you're so right. I think you nailed it. Here we go. On the screen, let me get it in the middle screen so that our people on Instagram can see it correctly. There we go. Trump moments ago. He who saves his country does not violate any law. Yep, that is something that he would know about. Hitler, 1929. The authority of the Fuhrer is not limited by laws or statutes. Wake up, people. Donald Trump doesn't have any much of serious stuff. I was on WBAI this morning. They asked me to be on the show. I can't remember the name of the program in New York, WBAI, and I think I kind of shocked the person who was interviewing me because I said the reason Donald Trump got elected was that those who had prejudices and knew the economy was good felt it safe to elect a moron. And she kind of reacted a bit, right? And I could see it, but I don't mince my words. You know that Donald Trump is in effect a moron, and you take a look. Anybody here can go ahead and look up the definition of the word moron, and it fits him succinctly. Succinctly. Thank you for that, Michael Rudnin. I enjoy that quite well. All right, let's continue here now. Para ver. Egberto, second one for the screen. You want to monopolize this show, Michael? Hey, brother, it's your show too. Of course you can. As long as we have space, we love all of you to give us what you want to see on the screen or what you also think is so important for everybody else to see. So be my guest. Let me know what you want people to see. Indian Hill. Oops, I need to put that on the screen. Let's go ahead and get it on the screen. Indian Hills Community Center. The problem with political jokes is that they sometimes get elected. Yeah, eso es cierto. That is true. Because what did we just do? We elected a joke. We elected a moron. But now we have 4 years of having to live with this as his puppeteers move him along. And yes, that's a Calvin and Hobbes reference. Is there another one? Oh my God. Rudnin has another one for the screen. I'll put it up too. And it says as follows. That's one of the remarkable things about life. It's never so bad that it can't get worse. Don't say that. Don't say it's never that bad that it can't get worse. I am saying we are on the upswing, people. Let's not talk about it getting worse. We are not going to allow it to get worse. We've got work to do. That's why you guys support politics done right, because we are out there. Come on, Rudnin. Positive affirmation. Love you, brother. All right, ABC News from Rudnin. Elon Musk Doge asks for access to IRS taxpayer data. When granted, Doge would have personal financial details on millions of Americans. The move has rattled agency insiders and private experts who warned that granting political operative access to such private information could be extraordinarily dangerous. This is an unelected centibillionaire accessing your second most personal files. Let me give you a caveat to that. I want everybody listening to me to hear this. And then I want your feedback. These bros are using AI to kind of mix data up. AI is so powerful, we could just throw in everybody's tax ID and all of that, and then AI can pull all their 1099s and all the assets that they have, etc., right? And then instead of having to have people, we can have AI find out all the millionaires and billionaires that owe millions and billions of dollars and where they're hiding their data. So what we need to do is find out the question that Musk and his teenagers are given to the AI algorithm to make the government more efficient and to collect more tax dollars with less people. We can do it. AI can go find all the resources of every individual. You want to do it? Hey, look, average working class. So yes, we want to keep our data private if possible. We want to, I'm an open book. I'll just tell you that. I assume everything that I have is on the internet. Okay, I'm just saying. I assume everything about me is on the internet. I assume that credit cards, all that kind of stuff is on the internet. So what I do to mitigate that is I look at my stuff every day. I look at my accounts. I look at this. I lock where I can, etc. That's what I do, right? But I assume my data is out there. Now, but AI can really do a lot of searching and cross contamination faster than any human being. What it may take a human being 10 years to do, AI can do in a couple seconds, right? So let's go ahead and start putting into the ethos, since we know that he's grabbing our data, make sure that he's grabbing the data of the wealthy and analyzing all the information. And by the way, for those who say, well, the rich knows how to hide their stuff, yeah, but you know what, they can't hide their flow, right? As they're passing money, there is one point where it goes from them to something, and then the something moving on. AI can find that really quickly. So let's go ahead and say, okay, if you want us all our information, make sure the millionaires and billionaires information is there so that we can get to charge Elon Musk all the millions and billions that he hasn't paid in taxes, Jeff Bezos, all the billions he hasn't paid in taxes, and all those wealthy people. They said it's up to Michael Rudden. Verify this for me. I think we are losing over $400 billion in taxes not collected from the wealthy. Validate that for me. I think it's somewhere in those kinds of numbers. All right, Washington Post from Michael Rudnin. Workers lost everything. They're suing Trump. USAID workers based in Kinshasa, the Democratic Republic of Congo, tell a harrowing story of how Trump's attack on the agency complicated an escape. The USAID staffers in Kinshasa made it back to DC, but they left behind everything from baby books and children's favorite toys to vehicles and regular access to neonatal care. According to their sworn declarations, one family had to leave behind their dog. Congressional Research Service data shows that more than 6,000 of USAID's 10,000 employees are based overseas. Just another example of how Trump and Musk would leave our citizens in a lurch if meant getting ahead politically. Exactly. They don't give a damn about people, but we always knew that. All right, Michael from NBC. United Healthcare CEO shooting suspect thanks people for mail on new website. Luigi Mangione, who is charged with first-degree murder in the ambush killing of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thomas, made the comments on a website set up by his defense. The government is doing a huge overreach with their prosecution. With the broken state of our healthcare system, no jury will convict him. Meantime, his defense fundraiser has raised $450,000. All right. Egberto, third one for the screen, entire optional. No, you know it's not optional. You know you want it, Mr. Rudnin. You want it on the screen. And of course I'm going to put it on the screen, brother. Come on. All right, let me read it real quickly, because we got to get busy into the videos, etc. Due to the extraordinary volume of inquiries and outpouring of support, this site was created and is maintained by Luigi Mangione, New York legal defense team, to provide answers to frequently asked questions, accurate information about his cases, and dispel misinformation. The intent is to share factual information regarding the unprecedented multiple prosecution against him. Here is a message from Luigi. I am overwhelmed by and grateful for everyone who has written to me to share their stories and express their support. Powerfully, this support has transcended political, racial, and even class division, as mail has flooded MDC from across the country and around the globe. While it is impossible for me to reply to those most letters, please know that I read every one of them that I receive. Thank you again to everyone who took the time to write. I look forward to hearing more in the future. Luigi Mangione. All right, let's see what else have we got here. Okay, Joe says, good afternoon. And from Joe, and 11 zebra finches again. I got them habit trails to fly around. Hilarious. They love it. I also let them fly in the room too. Wow. Okay. Oh no, the USAID and all is killing hearts and lives. That is from Joe. All right, scrolling down, we have, what else do I have to say here? History is just one damn thing after another. Arnold Toneby, or Toynbee quoting Elbert Hubbard. Isn't that the guy from that crazy religion? Forgive me if I said crazy incorrectly. I'm sorry. I should never call a religion crazy. My bad. My bad. I apologize. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I'm scrolling down before I get to the video. E2247 says 26 current or former USAID employees or contractors sued Elon Musk and those for actions taken to dismantle the United States Agency for International Development, which exposed plaintiffs to financial injuries, potential legal liability, and severe emotional distress. I love that. I think we need to throw suits at him left and right. I agree with you guys, folks. Does 1.26v Musk suit alleges these actions violate the appointment clause of the Constitution and separation of powers and requests the court declare these actions unconstitutional set aside? Okay. All right. Bruce says, did you ever? No, first of all, before Bruce, I had Paul Fleming. ProPublica thread. The Trump official currently dismantling USAID was caught in a secret meeting with a group of pro Russian separatists in the Balkans. Those he met with are under American sanctions for trying to restart the Bosnian War in the name of Christian nationalism. That's a damn shame. They forgot what happened in Bosnia and Herzegovina. They forget what was it's like in uh, these people are crazy. Did you ever ride with Matt Upperman? Matt, did you ever ride with Matt Upperman? The name sounds familiar. The name sounds familiar. I just clicked on your link to see what comes up. Let's see. Oh, is he from Kingwood, Bruce? Oh my God. Was I think he looks like the guy whose brother-in-law had diabetes that used to ride with us, Bruce. Is he from Kingwood? Please let me know, Bruce. That just kind of hit me. That just hit me. Tell me where if he used to ride with us or not here in Kingwood. Brees, let's see. Brees says, Egberto Willis, that quote is from Napoleon. He who saves the country does not break the law. Thank you for telling us that again. Telling us that. Let me put it back up on the screen to let people know what you're talking about. All right, here is a quote that Bridge is talking about here. It says, Trump on Trump's thing, it said, he who saves his country does not violate any law. And that is what's from Napoleon Bonaparte. Thank you for bringing that up, Bruce. Bridge MCP. Paul Fleming Sr., U.S. Department of Education issues letter to ban all race-based scholarship programs, including financial aid for Black and HBCU students. It's starting. So all you folks who know that one of the reasons that you, well, let me see how to put this in the correct type of a frame. Uh, no, I'm not going to touch it another time. Larry Hamilton, welcome to Politics Done Right. I see what else have we got here. Let's see who else we've got here. Paul Fleming says, if you wanted to cut waste, fraud, and abuse, you would empower the inspector generals. If you wanted to waste, fraud, and abuse, you would fire them. Exactly. Alistair Waters in the house. Welcome, Alistair from Conroe, Texas. She says, we have stopped acknowledging the imposter department and call it doggy and those who are part of the doggy boys. That is so funny. Guys, you have me reading a lot. Okay, let's see what else. I'm going to have to skip a few, okay? Egberto Willis, Americans for Tax Fairness, ultra wealthy $8.5 trillion of untaxed income. And if you multiply that by what their tax rate is supposed to be, that income, and I don't know if that is over 1 year or what, we can pretty extrapolate what that is supposed to be. So good one, Radimbo. See if you can get me the number per year if you can, my brother. I ask a lot, but you are good at finding this data. All right. Whoa, what is all of that? From the article, according to the analysis of the American for Tax Fairness of new Federal Reserve data on household income and wealth, America's billionaires and centimillionaires, those with at least $100 million in wealth, collectively held at least $8.5 trillion of unrealized capital gains. I don't want to talk about the unrealized gains yet. I want to talk about the actual income that should be taxable that they don't tax. These profits from unsold invest because everybody, anybody who has a 401k or any one of that, there are billions of dollars in unrealized taxable income in there. Because as you start extracting from your 401k or your IRA or whatever, that is when the tax starts to come out of it. So even though that is unrealizably taxed, but there are actual thievery that is occurring right now. Let's vote. I vote guilty. For what, Bruce? Bruce says he votes guilty. All right. You have to tell us for what you're voting guilty, Bruce. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Lee the Bear Cat from Austin, Texas. How you doing? Thank you for being here. And of course, let's see what else we got here. His dad is Hal Upperman from Kingwood. Oh my God, he grew up here. Sorry to hear about that. Yeah, when we get some more information, we put more stuff out on that, Bruce. Sad. We had a great biking group, cycling group here in Kingwood for the longest time. Now that the traffic is really bad, the guys don't ride that like they used to before. All right, let's see what else we have. Noah Egberto, Arnold Tonaby, and are world-class economic historians and philosophers. Thank you, sir. All right, Vance and Hexet learning that the rest of the world is less willing to swallow their BS than Fox News watchers. Yeah. All right. I'll check the article. Thank you, my dear brother. Lee, the Beer Cat, HBCU, good programs. Absolutely so. Absolutely, they're good programs. What can I say? All right, folks. The first thing I want to play is something that I saw this guy on TikTok. Let me see how long it is before I play it because I want you guys to hear it. I kind of love what he had to say. It's 1559. Let's go ahead and do that first. Let me get to it by go. There's this guy on TikTok who kind of put some context into why the vice president and the president have been talking so much about wanting to control, wanting to steal Greenland. And this is what he had to say. Check this out, and then we'll take it after.
So baffled by the incoming vice president's obsession with Greenland and Canada, it's really very simple. While he publicly derides climate change as a hoax, privately, he's a believer. He knows it's happening. And he knows that once all that ice melts up in Greenland, it's going to expose vast mineral resources ripe for the taking. Greenland is already known to have huge fields of oil and natural gas that haven't been explored. And lying beneath that ice, which has been there for about 10,000 years, are thought to be huge resources of precious metals, gold and silver, platinum and palladium, lithium. He wants to get his hands on those. And similarly, as the United States becomes more arid while climate change proceeds, Canada becomes much more temperate, which makes it more suitable for the growing of corn and wheat. So what we're talking about here is a good old-fashioned land grab, something the United States used to do 150 years ago, back in the days of banana republics and gunboat diplomacy, when they would park a battleship off the coast of a Central American country and threaten to bombard them if they didn't toe the line. So we're not moving forward as a nation. We're moving backwards. We're becoming less civil. We're becoming dumber. We're becoming more belligerent. We're like a trailer park with nuclear weapons. It's wrong, it's embarrassing, and it's stupid. But that pretty much describes the incoming vice president and his supporters. Wrong, embarrassing, and stupid. And you can expect a lot more of that over the next 4 years, but you can also expect me to be reminding you relentlessly of just how wrong, embarrassing, and stupid those people are, because I like doing it. I don't know.
I tell you, I just found that amusing because he's a older guy going on his walk and just kind of thinking things out aloud. And I when I talk about green, I still wonder what is the seriousness of these guys talking about Greenland. I mean, it's true what he just said, but what gives that some credence is I don't know if you've been following the news, but our new, I think it's the Commerce Secretary or one of his new secretaries to went to Ukraine, and what did he do? He offered to continue helping Ukraine if they would turn over half of their precious rare earths, their precious rare earth to America. Do you understand what that I mean, it's like these guys forget imperialism, colonialism, and all the things that America is accused of. And right there, we see it done in real time, exposed for the whole world to see. Okay, Ukraine, we will help you if you give us half of your rare earths. Rare earths are all those minerals that are used in things like semiconductors and batteries and solar panels, etc. Imagine that. No problem coming out and say, we'll help you if you'll just go ahead and give us all your rare earth. All right, Brother Brackens is with us online. How you doing, Brother Brackens? And before you speak, Brother Brackens, I just want to give a salute to our beautiful Missy Bay. I love seeing you listening in, my dear sister. Come on in, my friend.
Yeah, well, as far as that gentleman who was speaking, there's a saying that goes where I'm from, and it goes as this: I detect no lies. And it sounds logical now as to what extent, is this plot going to expose itself?
Mm-hmm.
Time will tell, but it only makes sense because Canada has been our peaceful neighbor on the border for as long as I've been alive, you've been alive, pretty much as long as history. And
Right.
now all of a sudden at this, I'm trying not to cuss. So yeah, this
Right. First of all,
dictator.
I want to thank you for not cussing because anytime you guys cuss, it makes it more difficult for me to go edit the thing to put in a podcast. But love you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I will say dictator.
I
That'll
get you.
be just
That's legal.
yeah. So yeah, so basically, yeah. Um, it's a land grab, and as a black person, it screams every bit of colonialism. It screams every bit of saying, we're going to declare war on Canada, basically, that, they've been nice to us, they let us use their health care and get the cheap drugs. But you know what? Let's stop playing nice now. I just want the land now. So it's kind of like it's a bully move, And I don't know if you know about the legend of Fleece Johnson. If you know
Tell me.
about the legend of Fleece Johnson, if you don't know about the legend of Fleece Johnson, I suggest you look it up. But it's a bully move that basically is saying, okay, Canada, I like you and I want you. Now we could do this the easy way or we could do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
You know what is so funny though, Ray, and this is funny because let's, even though it's silly, let's just say that Canada becomes the 51st state. It is like screwing two groups of people at the same time because a lot of Americans jump over to Canada to buy cheaper drugs, and also a lot of Canadians have all their good health care, etc. I mean, just think about it. So by becoming the 51st state, they degrade their healthcare system for themselves, and Americans who could survive because they could go across the border to get cheaper medicines, that is no longer available. It's amazing how these people would do everything to screw the people that vote for them. It's just amazing. Anyway, I got a whole lot of videos I got to play, my brother. So anything else you want to say real quickly?
No, just thank you for playing that video, and I hope to hear more from him because he makes a hell of a lot of sense, and maybe because he's older, people will respect that because he's seen a lot in his lifetime. So
Thank you, my
I want
brother.
more of that guy.
You have a good one. Well, right now what we're going to get more of is likely the most educated woman in Congress. And, the most educated woman in Congress right now is also one of the best spokespersons that the Democratic Party is not using the way they should. And her name is Jasmine Crockett. And Jasmine Crockett knows how to use her not only her social media, but her platform to really not embarrass, but tell the inconvenient truth about Elon Musk, the president, and all the fraud that they're responsible for. And here is one that she did recently again.
Because that's all y'all really want to promote is lies. That's the big issue that we have. Elon Musk boosted false U.S. aid conspiracy theories to shut down global aid. Now, while he was boosting those lies about U.S. aid and he was stopping money going for, say, things such as Head Start, somehow the only money that didn't stop was the money to him and his organization. Now, I don't know how you can have him be the watchdog as well as the guy that is literally living off of the government. If we want to talk about government welfare, it looks like Elon Musk, because it's my understanding that just on yesterday, a new contract was approved for approximately $300 million for Elon Musk. So listen, I just want y'all to be honest. You want to sit here, you want to lie, because so often we hear, well, yeah, we did lie. In fact, he admitted that he lied when he was in the Oval Office yesterday. But if it's a lie that will get you into office, such as saying, I know nothing about Project 2025, yet on day one, you literally do everything that you can to implement it, including making sure that you put, say, one of the main architects of Project 2025 over the OMB, it's okay, so long as you get the power that you seek. The problem is that the game is going to be on the American people. And when I say the American people, I mean all of us. Unfortunately, I am also stuck in the twilight zone because of the lies that were allowed to be propagated. Just like when you're talking about vaccines and all this nonsense. Right now in my state of Texas, there is an outbreak of measles. And what they are finding is that because there's been so much disinformation about vaccines that kids are sick right now with measles that they did not have to have if they just trusted doctors and experts instead of randoms online. So I will end by saying this, Mr. Chairman, because I know we believe in Jesus in this chamber. In John 8:32, it says, the truth shall set you free. So maybe we should focus on a little bit of truth in this chamber.
That's exactly right. I love her because she's articulate and she is smart. And even as she does what's necessary in this social media age to get the message across, she gets it across accurately. Now, there are some who love to question her and try to equate her with Taylor Greene. Taylor Greene is a dummy, uneducated, but this woman here, our own Jasmine Crockett, has nothing to prove because guess what? It follows her. Her intelligence and what she has done follows her. So for my MAGA folks in the room, even though I don't really acknowledge most of what you talk about, but when you question her intelligence or smartness, the work that she does, I have one thing for you, and I want you to listen well. And here it goes.
This question of you're either diverse or you're qualified, all I could think about was the fact that I currently hold an honorary doctorate. I also hold a Juris Doctorate. I also hold a bachelor's. I also technically hold the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the Civil Air Patrol, and I actually practiced law for almost 2 decades, in addition to serving on various boards, in addition to being a prior state lawmaker. And there are those that would make some people believe that because I happen to be black and or a woman, that somehow, even though I can rattle off all the qualifications in the world, my blackness makes me unqualified. There seemed to be this question of you're either
because I knew and I had it prepared. Let's see. The reason I wanted to play that and I had it prepared because I knew there would be some uneducated folks in this room that would somehow, with all her qualifications, want to question her intelligence, want to question her qualifications, etc. She is more qualified than most Republican Congress people, bar none. Yet she has to try to prove herself over and again, over and again. But you know what? What I tell people is no longer should you sit. I went ahead and played that for her. But personally, I go through the same thing and many others do, right? To my answer is to hell with them. Leave the mentally incapacitated alone and move on. And you know who helped me with that? A lot of my own brothers and sisters in the PDR posses, because they have given me the go ahead many a times to say, Egberto, kind of let low on some of these guys. Anyway, folks, I have to give you this other one here, right? What does also, it's not only many of us in the progressive side, it's not only 50.2% of Americans that voted that find Donald Trump a fascist, obnoxious moron. It is also true about some of our most revered partners overseas. I want you, as usual, to listen to what this Australian senator had to say. You know, MAGA loves to brag about how great Donald Trump is overseas, that people fear him and they respect him, etc. I'm going to tell you the truth. Do they fear him? They don't fear him as a person. They fear his irrationality and what he's likely to do, given that he has a Republican Party that is spineless, that is devoid of any type of a soul, you know? So they don't fear him as being strong. They fear him as being weak, as most bullies are, and that he will act irrationally and take things, and do things wrong. But anyhow, MAGA loves to brag about how he's respected. Being respected and being feared is completely different. And being feared, there's nothing to be proud of if people are following you out of fear, because eventually what happens is, as the fear subsides, you pay the penalty. But anyhow, Senator Nick McKim, Australian senator, had some choice words for Donald Trump, some choice words as to what he represents, and that the fascists that we are becoming here in the United States. I want you to listen to this and then we'll take it on the other side.
Around the world, people are reacting to Donald Trump in his first few weeks in office. Here's one reaction from an Australian senator and member of the Australian Greens Party. His name is Nick McKim, and he issued something of a warning. Let's listen.
The United States is sliding into fascism under Donald Trump, and it is marginalised communities who are going to pay the price. Black-skinned and brown-skinned people, migrants in the US, women in the US, transgender and queer folks in the US. They're going to be persecuted and they're going to be demonised, blamed for all the problems of the day. And you know what else is going to pay the price? Nature is going to pay the price under his drill baby drill policies of destroying nature. Climate is going to pay the price, as we're already seeing a withdrawal from global climate action. President Trump is a disaster for humanity. He belongs behind bars, not in the Oval Office.
Again, the rest of the world can see it. Over 50% of Americans can see it. Unfortunately, the 49% that voted for Donald Trump continues to be snowed by him, but it is something we're working on. And I think it is something that ultimately will have success when people come to grasp of what this incompetent felon is actually doing. When this incompetent felon is actually seen for what he is. One more, Joy and Reid, and guess what? It's coming home to roost to MAGA, because they're the ones that are going to feel the pain more than anyone else from what Trump and what Trump is doing along with the secondary president, Musk. The big lies are out there. USAID is a poorly run organization and it's ripping the people off and it's full with a whole bunch of liberal crazies and on and on and on and on. And now Donald Trump and his minions has decimated the USAID, an organization that does so much good around the world. Well, ironically, as USAID is doing great things around the world, and by the way, all those things that it does around the world is actually pre-approved by 3 different agencies: the Congressional Oversight Committee, OMB, and several other organizations that actually validates what it's actually doing. But I digress. All the good that these organizations do, all the material that they purchase, a lot of it comes directly from where again? Right here in the United States, which means that money that is used to fund USAID actually creates economic activity right here in the United States, because a lot of the food that goes over there is food that our hard-working farmers produce. I want you to listen to Joy and Reid, and then we'll take it on the other side.
It appears as though we have officially reached the find out phase of Donald Trump's presidency, as red states are starting to feel the pain of what actually happens when Trump's plans are put into action. Popular Information is reporting that in Huntsville, Alabama, about 250 customers of a public utilities company received a letter informing them that their account has been debited $100. They say it is a direct result of an executive order signed by Trump that froze a grant meant to assist low-income residents with their energy bills. And Trump's abrupt decision earlier this week to stop minting new pennies may not be going over so well in heavily Republican Greene County, Tennessee, home to the nation's sole manufacturer of penny blanks. And all of Trump and Elon Musk's dismantling of government programs and slashing federal funds, yeah, spoiler alert, that's going to hurt red states too. USAID, for example, has a program called Food for Peace, which spends hundreds of millions of dollars buying goods from American farmers and businesses to distribute around the world to help fight hunger. So gutting the agency means hurting farmers in places like Kansas, where the program was founded. On top of that, you have Republican Senator Mitch McConnell, for years, probably Trump's most notorious enabler, now warning his constituents in an op-ed that the tariffs Trump is promising could have negative consequences for the state's 75,000 family farms that sell their crops around the globe, or the hardworking Kentuckians who craft 95% of the world's bourbon, or our auto industry. Joining me now is Angelo Carasone, President and CEO of Media Matters, and Antoine Seawright, Democratic strategist. Who would have thunk it, Angelo, that a lot of these cuts willy-nilly being made by some 20-somethings and the normalized Indian hate guy are going to hurt Trump's own base? Is that message, do you think, getting out beyond just local news? You watch the media.
It's not yet. And that's, I think, the top line takeaway here. One is that, and we know where this is going to go, too. So that low-income heating program where those people lost that money, that was straight out of Project 2025. I mean, right in the 900-page book, that was one of the programs that they were targeting. So in effect, Trump is just implementing a lot of the things that they've already written and prepared for, which means we know what's coming next and we know the people that are going to be affected by it, which means there's no excuse for Democrats, for the news media, not to be able to connect the dots. And your question is the important one here, because if we don't help build that connective tissue for his actions to the harms that people are already experiencing, what's going to happen is that because they have narrative dominance and they have that massive megaphone, when people start to ask questions, hey, why is this happening? They're going to blame the deep state, malicious implementation, right? They're going to use that anger and kinetic energy and turn it right back around to gather more power for themselves. So it is both an important opportunity, but we also need to make sure we're telling this story so that we actually prevent them from using it to get stronger.
Absolutely. And, Antoine, you made a video actually that, that sort of walks Democrats through sort of a way to tell this story, not even just on the red state pain, but just on the price increases that everyone is feeling right now. I'm going to play just a little bit of that. Do we have it? Maybe we have a little bit of that.
We will stop inflation. We will will make America affordable again. We have tremendous potential in this country.
The president's tariffs are expected to have a major impact on the price American shoppers pay.
Tariffs that could raise prices for many products.
It'll also bring your grocery bill way down.
Consumers can expect to see increases on items like avocados, berries, and meat products.
The word grocery, it's sort of simple, but it sort of means like everything you eat.
With many thanks to our director downtown, Sterling Brown. Here is your article, Antoine. Is Trump ignoring his promises that won in the election? What should Democrats be asking? Where should they be playing that video?
Well, Joy, I can tell you this, as the old African-American proverb tells us quite clearly, we tried to tell y'all. The fact of the matter is what we see now is a governing style of ram, jam, and screw. Ram these government overreach extreme policies down the throats of the American people, jam up the news cycle with multiple things at one time, and screw whatever constituency that will be impacted by these. And quite frankly, I think the American people need to understand that these policies and this government overreach and this extremism does not just impact Democrats. It does not just impact those who may not have been for Donald Trump. It impacts everyone. In my home state of South Carolina, we better known in many places as the battery capital of the world. The largest investments from the Inflation Reduction Act, perhaps in any other state. We've had 2 or 3 announcements where companies will not produce what they said they were going to produce. Just in Georgia a few weeks ago, the same thing. And so I think what's going to happen at the end of the day, if you look at his extremism, along with what the Republicans want to do in the Congress with this budget cut in terms of Medicaid, people are going to be hurting, and the people who benefit the most are going to hurt the most, in my opinion, those who voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, who's going to gain the most, Angelo, are, Trump and his family. They're already reaping money. They're selling meme coins. They're personally, enriching themselves. Elon Musk is signing himself up for contracts while canceling Medicaid money.
Yeah, I mean, 800,000 people lost money in that deal. They thought they were going to get rich. They thought they were going to make some money off of Trump's momentum, and they lost it. And that's the nature of a lot of these scams. And that's a part, that's the part about this that makes this even more intense, is that it's not just that they're using policies to directly affect people and harm people and transfer wealth. They're also then using their cultural and social influence to then fleece them and pick their other pocket with these with these other gambits, and that and then further align their pockets. And I mean, they are really successfully managing to double dip in the most odious ways.
Remember, Donald Trump promised on day one he was going to bring down inflation. He was going to lower the price of car insurance and all these other things. And here we have prices of egg, gas, and goods and everything in between are still up. And yet his constituents who voted for him on this notion are the ones who are suffering the most. They're not in blue states. They're not in urban cities. They're in rural America. They're in urban America. They're all over the country. And that's why if you look back and reflect on this election, what people understand is it was easier to be angry than it was informed. Because if you were an informed voter in this election, it was not a policy thing that the president put up that was going to benefit working class Americans as they thought it would have when we tried to make this idea that the election was going to be about economics and microeconomics in particular. Not one person who voted for him is benefiting from that, except that the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected.
So yes, now there are over $2 billion that our farmers need to be paid, that our farmers' products needs to be delivered. And of course, Elon Musk in his infinite wisdom has stopped that. These guys are screwing things over and over again, laying people off that shouldn't be laid off like they did at the Atomic Agency, where now they're scrambling to find those people that they laid off. Folks, when you want to work within government, you should like government, and you should do it with an attitude of positivity and not that you're attacking those hard workers who work for government. And that is what they're doing right now. That is what they're going to pay the price for, because ultimately speaking, government is not bad. Republican politicians have a good way of, in fact, making government bad, because they depend on making government bad so that they can then use the very inefficiencies to go ahead and add inefficient private sector companies who have a record of ripping off the American people left and, well, I shouldn't say left, right and right is what I should say. the private sector in government has a constancy of ripping off the American people. Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Sound is my sound. There we go. There's my sound. All right. Anyway, folks, here's the issue that I want to talk about. First of all, I want to hit something that one of our righties had to say about that people that are 110 years old, and Elon Musk found that it's 150-year-old people in the Social Security system getting paid. Here's what: when you have ineptitude, or you don't know government, or you don't understand the process, you can go in there thinking you know everything and don't know a damn thing. It turns out that when people don't have accurate information on certain fields in these computer programs, they just put a large number for the person's age. So a 150-year-old person in computer terms stands for an NAN, meaning not an NAN. We have this term in computer programming. NAN means that field is not valid, and that's all it means. It doesn't mean it's fraudulent. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means it's not valid. But these nincompoop, as they go in there, because they just go in there willy-nilly and not meeting with the people who know the system, they can come out and find that, and then they report it. Hey, 150 years, just like they talk about $100 million of condoms sent to Kenya or to somewhere. Lie. They either lie, misrepresent. You should believe absolutely nothing coming out of Doge. I repeat, you should believe nothing coming out of Doge. All right, continuing now. Let's go ahead and talk about Michigan. Everybody needs to call Governor Whitmer in Michigan and tell her to make sure that the minimum wage increase that is supposed to go on today continues. If Democrats want to keep losing, if you want to get the working class, remember that $2 and change. If you go ahead and sign that bill, Detmer, that says those Michiganders are not going to get that $2 wage increase on the 21st of February, then the Republicans who really don't want to give that wage increase will use it against you. Get away from the plutocracy. Get away from the plutocracy and do the right thing. Michiganders did the right thing and voted to step their minimum wage up. That is what they voted for. Give the people what they voted for. Punto y final. Another thing that I want to talk about is, other than the minimum wage, is we have the patriotic millionaires are on the bandwagon, and they used the sentence that I love. They said if ever since Clinton, the best Republican president since Ronald Reagan signed NAFTA. Notice they call Clinton a Republican. Wall Street deregulation and welfare reform. Democrats have been selling out working people and getting pissed at voters for noticing. VP Harris' decision to cave to billionaires' demand on tax reform is not the only thing that doomed her campaign. Of course not. Racism was. And let's not forget 8 Democrats, one with curtsy, voting against a $15 minimum wage during a global pandemic that killed thousands of essential workers. They championship. Hillary Rodham Clinton, multiple $250,000 speeches to Wall Street, and Obama's support of tax cuts for millionaires that led directly to the creation of the group I currently run, the patriotic millionaires. These are millionaires that are saying, stop giving us these breaks. We don't need it. And they says, enough. This is from the patriotic millionaires. I should have this on the screen. From the patriotic millionaires. And then they say, if Democrats stand a chance in 2028, they should do everything they can this week to stop Governor Whitmer from making the biggest mistake of her political career, a mistake that will likely cost Democrats a Senate seat in 2026 and set them up for an even more resounding defeat in 2028 than they suffered in November, when every single demographic of working people in the country gave the electoral finger to the Democratic Party. And the patriotic millionaires are absolutely correct. So any one of you here, marching orders for today, call Michigan. Call, especially if you are from Michigan, and our brother Mike Cisak, not Mike Cisak, Tom Sarnik is from Michigan. So Tom, lead the way. Please remember to tell your governor, no, absolutely no. We will continue to give the money for the price increase. I think I'm done there. And by the way, Bruce, I don't know what, I didn't see the interview. I saw that earlier up in the chat. I didn't see the interview. But anyway, folks, I got to get out of here. But before I get out of here, I need to ask all of you who have the wherewithal. If you are on YouTube, please consider becoming a member of our YouTube posse, PDR posse on YouTube, by clicking that join button. Become a subscriber and also click that join button. Please become a subscriber if you're on YouTube. Or the best way to support Politics Done Right, to make sure we can continue doing this and doing this correctly, is by supporting our newsletter. Our newsletter can be found at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Please become a paid subscriber. It will help us get and keep the message going. We don't only do this program, we also do books, articles, TikTok, Instagram. We do everything to make sure and keep the truthful message out. Because as you can see from some of even the folks that are in our room that are from the right, they are ill-informed, misinformed, because the other side have been doing a great job in promoting lies that seem factual. We need you to invest in what we do so that we can continue to populate the internet. Not only with this, we do this program at 6 a.m. live on KPFT 90.1 FM, likewise on all our internet channels, and we do it at 3 o'clock on all our internet channels. So we work hard to get all of this promoted, produced for you. We also write several books. As you can see, these are the main books that I have right now. As I see it, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relative Friends and Neighbors, as well as How to Make America Utopia. By the way, all these books, anybody who are become paid subscribers of our newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter can read all of my books for free. Not only these books, but the other two books that I have, in addition to any new books that I write. So please support the cause. Please be subscribers, paid subscribers of our newsletter, and you can really allow us to keep spreading the wings, spreading the message, to make sure the progressive message is out there and that the liars are attenuated. We must attenuate their message, as they are a clear and present danger to America. Anyway, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willis. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willis. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.